Yes, everybody. Russ, the West Ham Network. Hope you are all safe and well. The West Ham Safety Network, as you all know. This morning, did a bit of players we were linked to for a change. And then at lunchtime, late lunch, early afternoonish, we put out the Graham Potter press conference ahead of the game on Saturday. Tomorrow morning we'll put out an opposition chat with a Sunderland fan and start ramping up ahead of the game on Saturday, where you get all your usual match day mornings, you'll get your stats attacks, and you'll get your coverage of the watch along as per usual. Thanks to our new channel partners for the season, Match Bingo, who we'll talk about more at those videos. But it is time for the world famous Hammers headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. 3 stories to talk about, couple of transfer rumours and one potential exit. Let's talk rumours and let's talk people who are probably never going to sign for us, but they've been linked, and that's why we talk about them. It's been reported, and so we don't make anything up. It's just to preface that. I'm not saying we're signing all these people. In fact, we give our own opinion. According to my favourite Spanish media outlet, Fajaz, West Ham, Everton, and Spurs are battling to sign the Real Sociedad winger Takusa Kubo. Now, the Japanese forward has found some consistency at Real Sociedad after failing to break into the first team at Barcelona and Real Madrid. Not too shabby, though. He's had spells at Villarreal and Real Mallorca before eventually joining Real Sociedad on a permanent deal from Madrid in 2022, where he's found stable form, according to the article. 137 appearances for the club, 23 goals, 18 assists, 41 goal involvements in 137 games. Regular at the international level for the Japanese national side, where he's featured 44 times since making his debut for the Samurai Blues in 2019. He's only 24 as well. So, there's a lot of experience for the lad. Now, we know, particularly with the Suzuki deal, when we were looking at Suzuki, and in terms of general forward planning, there is a real desire from West Ham to sign an Asian player, having seen the impact that Son has or had on Spurs. And Rico, she's in the West Ham women's side, and there's a lot of interest from Asian partners in terms of corporate, in terms of rights for TV, rights for interviews, that type of thing. So, it's part of the strategy, getting a player who is a consistent first team player, who is from, who is from Asia, would benefit West Ham from a marketing perspective. However, I don't think Kubo is it, and I'll tell you why. He looks like he has a minimum release clause of £51 million. There we go. That's it. We are not paying £51 million for him at all. No way, sunshine. We haven't got £51 million, I don't think, unless it's a phenomenal, chuck out of players. We talk about one of the players who potentially leaves, but not going to fill that hopper. And maybe he's not necessarily a priority position for us at the moment. I mean, he's naturally on the right flank, so it's like another Kudus situation with him and Bowen. He can operate centrally and sort of attacking midfield bit, but a bit like Bowen, he's better on the wing. So for me, this is a complete non-starter, which will probably mean he'll sign tomorrow. Another name which hangs around like a bad penny, Youssef En-Nesyri, according to the latest from Fajaz on the double, a brace from Fajaz today. They doubled down at saying West Ham are plotting to swoop for the Fenerbahce centre forward. He arrived from Sevilla to Fenerbahce, Jose Mourinho's Fenerbahce, and was involved in 37 goals, directly involved in 37 goals across 52 matches in all competitions, 30 goals and 7 assists. That ain't too shabby, Alonso. And this impressive form, which is a return to form, because I think the last sort of year, 18 months of Sevilla wasn't really hitting the heights, but moving club has revitalised him, potentially. These are the words I'm thinking of. And according to what she says, West Ham have been keeping tabs on Youssef in recent times. Obviously, he's, like I said, like a bad penny. Every transfer, it's not a transfer window until it's been linked to Youssef En-Nesyri. Again, it sort of makes sense in some respects, and then it says he has a £34 million valuation on him. So unless West Ham can do a Hermansen and knock that down for at least half, I'd suggest, for the 6'1" Moroccan international striker, I just can't. Again, a bit of a non-starter, in all honesty. I think he's probably about 27, 28. How old is he? I want to say he's sort of late 20s. So you're not going to get return on investment as such, unless obviously the goals he scores puts you into the European places, maybe. He is, I want to say 28. Yeah, 28. Just turned 28. So too spenny. Too spenny for me. No, move on. Are we going to move on Mavropanos? That's the question. Nice segue, Budden. Nice segue. Thank you. Now, according to reports, to Mercato Web, amongst others, Roma and Villarreal could be set to do battle for the West Ham defender. Now, the report has suggested he's been followed by Roma. I can just imagine like the Roma scout of a newspaper with the eyes cut up. He's been followed around for several months. And the issue with Roma is money. They've also been interested in Emerson as well. And if I believe I remember correctly, an interest in Quiero Rodriguez as well. But there is a potential issue with them as Villarreal have made an entry. Sounds a bit painful in the last few hours. They are also keen on the defender as they look to strengthen their squad before the end of the window. West Ham are open to a permanent sale, not a loan deal. Maybe I'd suggest maybe a loan deal of obligation, a moist loan. And they're looking at around 20 million euros, which will see him recover the money they spent when they bought him from Stuttgart in 2023. Whether Roma or Villarreal are willing to spend that much isn't clear at the moment. And it certainly seems that neither have made sort of serious moves as yet. Also, Roma are interested in Gerd as well. Fucking hell. So he's very much on the radar. I think, to be honest, he's probably more likely than others to go, in my humble opinion. Just because he's 27, so he's still got a good few years ahead of him. Where Emerson's 30. Gerd's 29, 28, 29. Quiero, I think, and again, we might talk about it a little bit later on. Quiero is having interest from Saudi Arabia, Saudi Pro Leagues are interested in him. And, I can understand why. He's a World Cup winner, albeit didn't play a lot in the World Cup, but he's a World Cup winner, Argentinian international. And so, it's a little bit of a status type thing, in terms of bringing a World Cup winner in, albeit didn't play much in the World Cup. But regardless, he was in the squad. But yeah, we go into, obviously, we start the Premier League season this weekend, and then we go in, we've got 2 weeks after the transfer window. I think after the first couple of games, teams will start be thinking about moving people on, who's going to feature, who's not going to feature. We've been trying to do it all fucking summer, but no one wants our players. And I think potentially Mav could go, but for Mav to go, I mean, as I said, it's probably the one position I would suggest where we've got plenty of cover. We've got the three. We've got Mav. Second half of the game against Lille A, they took off Todibo and put Wan-Bissaka in the right with the back three. Bonkar, Walker-Peters, another option. Lille B, Ollie Scholes played left at the back three, with Amike Elieli playing the left wing back role. Plus, there are guys, if I mean, obviously Caden's out on loan, played again yesterday, day before yesterday, he did really well for them, for the Swans. And then you've got on top of that Ezra Mayes, you've got Edris Golombekis, you've got Alvarez, you can play that position, who actually played that position in that Lille B match. So it wouldn't necessarily mean a 1 in, 1 out, or 1 out, 1 in for Mavropanos. That money could then be redistributed, maybe for areas where we need a bit more not filler, but I mean it more sort of padding the forward line, for example. That money, if it was 15 million quid we got for that Mav, could go directly to get Idrissa Gueye, for example, for Metz, as an idea. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comments below, and check out our Graham Potter press conference synopsis. Looks at the morning show, and then tomorrow, as I said, we'll have the show with opposition fan from Sunderland. We'll put that out tomorrow morning, and we start gearing up for that game. If you are, again, I'm just putting it out because if you are around the Romford, East London area, tomorrow Thomas Repka is going to be at the Russ Club with E13 events. Julian Faubert, Jimmy Walker, and as just announced, the Ginger Pele will be in attendance as well. There's literally like 3 or 4 tickets left, I think. So if they haven't gone already, quite possibly, contact in at the E13 events. And as a not spoiler, as a prelude, no, postlude, what's after the on Sunday, we'll have the Thomas Repka My Hammers 11 interview as well, which good fun in more ways than one, we'll just say that. Anyway, take care everyone, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, stay hydrated, stay cool, and I'll see you later. Much love. Bye-bye.